Hello, everybody. Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. I'm going to talk about the demand index indicator, not one of the best known ones. And so I'm trying to bring you new and exciting indicators to help you with your trading or investing. Please be aware that no indicator works all the time. There's no perfect indicator. If I found one, believe me, I would be using it and I would tell you all about it. And before I get started, and I'll tell you all about the indicator, all the basics that you need to know, and it's a pretty simple one actually to use. But if you'd like some more help with trading or investing, putting together a trading or investing plan, because you really need to have a plan, otherwise you don't know what you're doing and you don't know where you're going. You can email me for coaching at davidmodell@gmail.com. It's on your screen right now. So let's give credit where credit is due. The demand index indicator was developed by James Sibbitt, and it is available in very few places, unfortunately. You have to hunt around for it just to find it. It's on very few platforms. If you're using a platform with your broker, you might have to go to another website just to find it, like tradingview.com. That's what I'm on right now. And no, they are not paying me to say this, although I've given them a lot of publicity over the years. But anyway, so, and even if you go to tradingview.com, even then it's hard to find. All right, so be aware of that. Don't be surprised if you look on your broker's platform and it's not there, but it might be. You might have to ask for it or request it. All right, so I've got the Apple daily candlestick chart up there. Every candlestick represents 1 day of price action, but the demand index indicator can be used on many different time frames. It could be used on 1 minute charts, 3 minute, 5 minute, hourly, daily, whatever you like. All right. Because like most indicators, it adjusts and adapts to the time frame of the candlesticks. And it is pretty much a momentum indicator. So, it's not really overbought, oversold, like RSI or stochastics might be used as overbought, oversold, where the line, if it gets to a certain number, then it's considered expensive, or if it gets down to a certain number, it's considered cheap. It's not really used like that as much as just telling you where the momentum is, kind of. You can use it as an overbought, oversold oscillator, but I found people online mostly using it just as momentum and typically as a divergence type of indicator, and I'll explain that. Anyway, the midpoint is 0, and so if it's heading upwards, talking about the demand index indicator here, the blue line here, if it's going upwards, then the trend is up, and if it's going downwards, then the trend is down. That's kind of an obvious interpretation of it. You could also say if it's above 0, that's bullish momentum. If it's below 0, it's bearish momentum. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that what's cool about the demand index indicator is that it takes into account not just the price action, but also the volume. The price and the volume are part of the formula. And I think that's really good because the candlesticks by themselves, they don't tell you the formula. Not really. You can oftentimes guess that the volume is going to be greater when you get a big candlestick. Yeah, oftentimes, but not necessarily. You could have a big move on low volume. That actually happens. So please be aware of that. All right. The candlesticks do not tell you the volume per se. Whereas the demand index indicator factors the volume into the equation. It's a rather complicated equation. We're not going to go over the whole equation. You can do that on your own if you want to, but I don't think you necessarily need to know everything about the equation to use an indicator such as the demand index indicator, although it certainly couldn't hurt you if you wanted to look it up. All right, but it has a lot of moving parts to it, put it that way. So let's go over an example of how a divergence might come into play. For example, if I and then I'll show you where you can find the demand index indicator. It's actually hard to find, even on TradingView, and I'll show you how. So if you have the lower highs, lower lows kind of thing, in other words, the demand index line is trending downwards, as you can see. Okay, so let me draw that line there. Meanwhile, the price action is trending upwards at exactly the same time. I'm going to hide these ads here. And let me see. There you go, right? And so which one's telling the truth? Well, you could reason that remember, the candlesticks only take into account the price action, whereas the demand index indicator line takes into account, yes, the price action, but also the volume. And so you might think, well, perhaps the demand index indicator is telling the truth here. And it turns out that it did. Look what happened right after. See? So there's a divergence here. It looks like a bearish divergence according to the indicator, and it turned out that way. You had a pretty steep 4 candlestick drop there. All right. So, something to think about. Again, this does not work 100% of the time. I'm not going to say that the demand index indicator tells the truth all the time, all right? But it does take into account more than just the price action, whereas the candlesticks really is just about the price action. So that was just one example. But always, I recommend trying something out with virtual trading or paper trading, like a demo account, just to make sure it works for you before you commit any real capital to it. And if you do commit real capital to it, respect your stop losses, use very small position sizing, stay safe. Safety is paramount. All right, so you want to know how to get this thing. No problem. We're gonna look at, okay, we're on TradingView, go to indicators and strategies, and it's funny, you look for demand index on here, it's not on there, right? Yep, not even on there. So what do you have to do? Well, fortunately, there are nice people on TradingView who actually make scripts. They're coders, I guess. They know coding, and so you go to the search box here after you click on indicators and strategies. Go to that search box with the magnifying glass, type in demand, and it comes right up. At least it does for me. And yeah, Doughboy, that's by far the most popular one that I found that just says demand index. And I read some reviews, and it seems pretty reliable, I think, I hope. Again, I cannot guarantee, all right? This was written by a user, so I don't know if it's accurate or not, all right? But anyway, that's the one that I showed you today, and I'm sticking to it, all right? But there are others you can check out. But, looks like this one at the top here by Doughboy is pretty popular compared to the other ones. So you might want to just use that one if you want to. Or if you could find it elsewhere. I mean, I Google searched it pretty hard, and I really couldn't find it in many other places. This was the easiest way to find it, but you have to search for it through the search box there. All right, so I hope this was helpful to you with the demand index indicator. Anyway, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up on YouTube. That'll encourage me to make more videos about technical indicators. And if you have not subscribed, why not do that right now? And hit that notification bell on YouTube, and that way you'll get notified by YouTube whenever I put out a new video like this one. And if you're interested in the coaching, I do offer it. For the coaching, you can email me at davidmodell@gmail.com. It's on your screen right now. Hey, thanks for watching and for listening. I'll talk to you again soon.